Hello everybody, this is His Royal Highness Stuart Swerdlow.
And Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow.
And this is an addendum to the Expansions News Podcast for summer of 2018.
Yep. So this story was the first one I wanted to talk to you about because to me it's so ridiculous. This is about breastfeeding.
I never do it.
Yeah, I'm glad. And a lot of people wrote in on the last one to say they were happy to hear that.
Good.
Now, the thing that is always so astounding to me, and I talked about this before, is normalizing breastfeeding, right? So now we've moved beyond normalizing breastfeeding to saying that breastfeeding in public is now legal in all 50 U.S. states.
Oh, I thought it was. Anyway.
Well, the point being is this, is that, as I told you before, 20 years ago, it wasn't a thing. Everybody did it, it's what happened, and it wasn't discussed. But for some odd reason, now we have to have a law that says it's legal. Now that's the thing that I find absolutely puzzling and ridiculous. So my feeling is they want women then to be bearing their breasts, because we've talked about this before.
Well, I agree with that. They should be bearing their breasts.
Because what happens when you feed a baby, it is a bonding time between mother and child. The baby is actually picking up the mind pattern imprints of the mother, and the baby should be breastfed quietly and cuddled, and not just throw your blanket off and march down the modeling row.
Especially like in the airport.
It's not right to your child. It's not right. It's a, what do you say? It's kind of a travesty of that bond, that mother-child bond, in my opinion. So I just thought this was just so ridiculous because it goes on. First of all, again, it shouldn't be legislated because people were doing it anyway. So it said that in most of the country, women are able to breastfeed in any public place without covering up. And as I told you, my opinion is it should be a private thing between mother and child.
Why would you want to do that publicly? Why? Why do you want to urinate in public too?
Yeah, there you go. Maybe that will be next. I don't know. Anyway, they said the law was hoping to read, a woman may breastfeed in any place of public accommodation, irrespective of whether the woman's breast is uncovered during or incidental to the breastfeeding. But some politicians were comfortable with the wording, claiming that could lead to immodest behavior. That sounds like Muslim to me. Immodest behavior,
just fundamentalism.
Right? So anyway, there's a man, Representative Kurt Webb, said, this seems to say you don't have to cover up at all. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm just not. It's really in your face. So apparently,
it's in the baby's face anyway.
The issue is, again, this is silly to legislate breastfeeding and make it legal. It's just bizarre to me. So they're actually creating an issue where there never was an issue. And now we have to legislate it. And then they have this survey thing at the bottom of this article. How do you feel about breastfeeding in public being legal across America? Are you surprised it's taken this long? Do you think women should cover up? Is it okay? And they went on to say, oh, celebrities that have been influential open up the conversation about breastfeeding. Like, it's some wonderful thing. But what they're doing, like I said, they're really taking away that quiet bond that is very, very private between mother and child.
Breastfeeding has been going on since people
existed.
So why is it an issue now?
Exactly. And why do I have to legislate it? So I just, again, bizarre. I'm sorry. So, and then this is another bizarre story. This has to do with the transgender issue again. Or this Canadian man,
Canada,
who is identified only as David, lives in Alberta.
Oh, I heard about this.
Apparently, he was given a quote of 4,500 Canadian dollars to insure,
which is like 3 cents,
a Chevrolet Cruze he wanted to buy. But the insurers told him if he was a woman, it would be $1,100 less.
Why would they even say that to him when he's not a woman?
I don't know. But anyway, to take advantage of lower rates and beat the system, he legally had to change his gender on a birth certificate. And all he had to do this was get a note from his doctor
to say he's a woman
that acknowledged his identification as a woman.
How could the doctor do that?
Because he said, this guy says it was simple. I just asked for it, told him I identify as a woman. I like to identify as a woman, and he wrote me the letter I wanted. Then he got his birth certificate changed.
Too much Molson's beer over there.
And because he got his birth certificate changed, he then was able to lower his insurance bill by $1,100.
Brilliant.
And he says, I beat the system. I felt like I won. I'm a man 100%, but I'm a woman. So now, guess what happens? A member of the Legislative Assembly for Calgary named Stephanie McLean said the man committed perjury and then he should face time in prison because it's a loophole he found, and therefore that makes it a crime. So let's see what happens. And that's apparently...
You know what? Canada has effed up laws to begin with. They need to revamp their entire freaking government.
Every country does. I just told you about the breastfeeding law.
Canada is so screwed up, it makes the U.S. look brilliant.
Anyway, So then, of course, the transgender community criticized David for doing this, saying it downgrades the whole process of changing one's gender. But honestly, the whole process of changing one's gender is about like 99.9% of the time these are programmed people and they have issues.
I think the U.S. should invade Canada and annex it.
And another person said this transgender, trans alliance, they call themselves, society, I think it gives ammunition to people who want to take rights away from trans people. So, I mean, it's just all...
It's stupid.
Crazy. So, that's what I have to say, and if you're interested in our view of sexuality, the true reality of sexuality, and this month on my blog, we are talking about sexually deprogramming.
Okay,
So,
wash your mouth out with soap.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to watch, comment, and subscribe, and share. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.